Hello, it's Roberto making here. Still wearing the mask. Guys, just rolled in. I'm going to put that aside for the moment since we're talking over the internet and we don't have to worry about internet transmission of COVID. We do want to remember that we need to take care of one another and ourselves and our sense of relationship with what is nourishing, sacred, and connective. That is, how do we love our neighbors as ourselves? You may have great devotion to the holy. And the Bible does say that that devotion means not a whole lot if we don't also love our neighbors as ourselves. That means loving ourselves, loving our neighbors, all hard things. How do we do that in this season? I'll invite a couple of options that I try and I like to practice. One of them is to think about somebody that I really care about. And I'll write all these qualities that I really admire about them or I appreciate, and then I'll mail that up, roll that up, mail it off to them. I don't send it in an email typically, unless I know that person really doesn't like the postal service. I like to have the time and also the pleasure of somebody going through bill after bill, request after request, an actual piece of post that might have something positive to say, and then they can take the pleasure of opening that. That's certainly how I receive posts, and I appreciate those kinds of letters and note cards and things like that. So I also imagine that my recipients receive that. So receiving a gift of how somebody appreciates you can be an experience of being loved and known and really wanted in this time where we can feel so different and apart from each other. Another loving practice, if you live in the same general community, it can be, drive-by plate sharing, where you might put your mask on, wash those hands, wash up really well. Maybe if you have gloves, wear gloves. Prepare some beautiful food. And then taking that over to a neighbor and offering that to them. I even heard of some folks who are doing kind of plate exchanges where they're making some meals. Like we used to have like neighborhood meal shares, and they're doing the same thing. They'll make the meals, they'll put them in containers, and then people can go by different stops, pick up and drop off these meals, and have a completely different thing to eat every other day of the week with doing one meal's worth of preparation. That can be a really lovely way to relatively inexpensively bring some care and try some new things out. And maybe if you include some recipe cards, that adds to your repertoire. Another really loving thing that I'm experiencing and having folks do for me is setting up special calls where they offer one of their talents. Maybe their talent is telling jokes. Maybe they do a little puppet show. Maybe they tell me a story. Maybe they play a musical instrument or they sing. It's this sharing that used to happen when we were able to hang out in person. And it gives us something to connect around. And then, of course, it's important that, I'm part of the giving of that process. So it also means that I need to take the time to have, if I'm the joke person, have some jokes ready. If I'm the storyteller, to have some stories ready. If I'm the person who's going to be sharing a musical gift, to have a piece ready to be able to share. And that also gives me something to look forward to consider. I'm thinking about those people through the week as I'm preparing whatever my piece is in those kinds of group conversations and calls. The nice thing about doing that kind of sharing is it can take us out of the political realm and into the human connections. Now, politics are super important. You all know I am a social justice activist and I have very strong beliefs. And I also need to be able to connect with people who don't believe the same way that I do, especially if I'm related to them. And if I'm living in the same community, that's going to be a part of how we bring healing and change into this world, is that we can find the human in each other again with a little bit of love. So I'm hoping for some love in your holiday season. And remember that one of the ways that you can show people you love is actually put your mask on before you connect. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.